herding you guys as a team. And it's actually really easy to do. Do you have a toy, or do you have? Okay. Have you taken my 110 class? Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to show you what I do with my sends. And the goal with sends is going to be, you need to teach the dog. Remember, I talked about the Amish buggy horse blinders? Okay. You need to teach the dog that as soon as you cue a send, the dog is to then focus only on the jump, do their thing, and get back to you when they land. Okay? So the goal is going to be, if someone sends me, I'm the dog, I go, hi, got it, boom. Right? I'm going forward, I see you a little bit, but my hard focus is on the jump, and then when I land, I look up and say hi. Right now, what's happening with your dog is you send me, and I go, okay, flap, oh, wait, you moved. So you want to get rid of that, because I want a consistent dog that as soon as I give the dog the command to send, they go. Because it makes life a lot easier for me. Because if I can get a dog to commit back here to that jump, and I know they're going to stay committed, I can really go anywhere. And it makes agility just a lot simpler, okay? So the 3 things I do with them is I'm going to teach, or 4 things. Teach a forward send, and I do them in this order because it makes the most sense to the dog. So the forward send is going to happen, a lateral send, but to me, it's one of those forward versus lateral. When does that start and stop? So I just say 180-degree sends. Okay, so different angles, right? So you're going to send and send and send and send. And then after that, I do the backside send. So backside, right? So you push into the wing area and go. And then the last one I do is called motion across the bar. So like your serpentines, things like that. So the dog has to tolerate, if the dog is jumping into you and you're moving that way, they have to tolerate the fact that you're putting pressure across the bar, so they don't just go like this and come with you. So they take the jump and come in. So toy's great. So the biggest thing is, in the beginning, the toy is absolutely positively a lure. It's a lure. We're not shaping this, we're just luring, and what it does is the toy is going to keep the dog committed to the jump with little to no problem. Okay, easy peasy. So you can start the dog off pretty close, you'll be pretty close. We'll just start with a forward send, just a traditional send. And the goal is going to be, as soon as you do the send itself, so the body language is presented, so can I have the ball? And then you can hold him, yeah, because he's going to be like, I'll come with you, I will help. So the dog's on your side, right? I'm going to start with the foot back, because I want motion, maximum motion. So it's going to be, as soon as I step forward, the toy gets dropped and I move away. You don't want to step forward and drop and stand, because agility is not send and stand, it's send and go. So from the get-go, I want you sending and getting out of there. The toy will lock the dog into the line, so he will learn as soon as you give the cue, just look that direction, look at the jump, and there won't be any issues.
So you're releasing from one hand as you're jumping?
Pretty much, yeah. As soon as I give the command to, as soon as I give he's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. As soon as I give the step, I'm going to reward. Now, I'm going to take the toy out of it for you because I want you just to get the mechanics first, so get a little closer. He's like, this is the best day of my life. Hi. And so what you want to do is when you're stepping, you want to think like you're stepping on broken glass or hot rocks. You don't want to stay very long at all. And move. Good boy, don't worry about that. Yay, buddy. Okay, see how fast it happens? So as soon as you cue the jump, we don't need that. As soon as you cue the jump, that ball immediately comes out, and that teaches the dog to lock into that jump. Right, so what I'm going to have you do, I usually have the ball in the opposite hand. I send and just drop and move away instantaneously. I know it's a lot to think about, so. And you'll do this at all different angles. Drop, move. Awesome. That was awesome. That was really awesome. So the reason why it's like that is because the ball is just going to lock the dog in. As you get further and further away, so let's say, because in order to do handling classes with me, you have to have 20-foot send, which is a long way, pretty far. You have to be able to say jump, and then you have to move away, and the dog is still going to the jump. Because then it makes everything super easy. And you're like, hey, it's the cakewalk. That's what I want from agility. I want easy. I don't want difficult. If you want to run to every obstacle, it's going to become very difficult. So once you are to that point where you're backing away, then as you back away, obviously you can't keep chucking that toy in a perfect position next to the wing. It then starts becoming a lure. Or a reward, a reward. So it starts off right around the wing, it's a lure, dog locks in. As you back up, dog is still locking into the jump. And as you start moving further and further back, the toy starts getting rewarded further and further on the line. That makes sense. So in the end, let me borrow your toy, you take your dog. If I'm working with, a dog that has a really solid zen, and I say, go jump, I'm actually going to be doing that. The dog's still going to be going to the jump. So it becomes, naturally, the progression, it becomes proofing. Can you take that jump while that toy's there? Okay? And if they don't, and they come in, then you just get closer and work your way back. Does that make sense? But you're rewarding the line. And then what I also tell people to do is when you run away, a really common thing to do is they drop the toy, and then they do this. And you're not connected at all. So what you want to do is you want to make sure when you drop the toy, you look back and watch the toy so you can practice connection. And so it's a good way to train both the handler and the dog. Does that make sense? So you would do that with the forward send. Backside send is going to be kind of the same way, except where you're going to reward. You would backside send, drop the toy here as you move away. Does that make sense? Do you want to try a couple of those for me? You have to master all of these. Backside sends, I usually want like a 15-foot backside send, normally, which is pretty big. I like to put a verbal on it. Yep, beautiful. One step, go. Awesome, awesome. Now, as you start pushing the envelope, cookies. As you start pushing the envelope, let's see if you'll come back. You gonna come back, dude? Well, you found something, didn't you? He's sniffing with a purpose, though. There wasn't food here 7 years ago. Oh, he's like, I just found a cookie. It was amazing. Or a piece of dirt or poop. I don't know. If for some reason, as you start adding more and more motion, if the dog runs past the toy, because I could see him maybe doing that a couple times, like, oh my gosh, you're taking off like crazy, chase the mama. What you're going to do, I'm actually going to have you be the dog. Let's leash him up real quick. Can I have somebody just hold the dog real quick? He's like, oh, okay. Hi. All right, so let's leash him just real quick. Okay. So let's say you're the dog, and you like this toy, but you like chasing me more.
Okay.
So I'm going to send you, drop the toy, and you go past the toy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go, where's your toy? Come here, where's your toy at? I'm not actually going to give you eye contact.
Okay.
As soon as you see the toy and grab it, yes, and I'm going to reward.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So if you look at the dog and go, get the toy,
Right.
they're like, hi, I love you, this is what I wanted. So you're just kind of like not looking at them, like, where's your toy at? And then as soon as they get the toy, you're going to engage with them. And the reason you do that is because the line and the obstacles must be more important than getting to you. Because we do restrained recalls, right? Restrained recalls, run to mom, run to mom, run to mom. And then when we put a bunch of obstacles in the way, all of a sudden the dogs are, Kool-Aid manning through the jumps, right? They're racing because the goal from their childhood has been get to mom as fast as you can. But that's not actually agility. Agility is run the things as fast as you can. Mom will direct you otherwise. So you have to, that's why I use this to get them locked into the line, because the line becomes more important than chasing you, which usually makes drop bars non-existent because the dog's focusing on the obstacle. And so they're...
What happens when you come back and when they finally get it, do you reward them here, or once they pick it up, do you take off and run and try to get them to chase you?
You can try to get them to chase you if they will. If they won't, I would start off by just tugging with them. So if they interact with the toy, eventually they should. And the goal is going to be they're going to grab the toy, and hopefully, once they get used to the process, they'll grab the toy and go with you. But some of them is like if you're using a lotus ball, they're just going to grab the lotus ball and open it up while you're running away. But what you're doing is you're desensitizing them to the motion away. Because it's not motion 2 that's the problem. They got that. But what they'll do as a dog is they'll instinctively tell you, you're here, great, now don't move until I'm at takeoff. Well, if you do that, which is what most people do, then as they're at takeoff, the most you could be is here. So you're actually in their way. But for me, I got 20 feet, depending on how far I send away. Does that make sense? Okay. I want you to now, we're going to do the across the bar thing. So across the bar is going to be, and this is the hardest, because dogs, this is the one that really is the toughest for dogs to get and understand. So dog's going to be in a sit stay here, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to start off like you're already across the bar. So it's going to be, okay, drop your toy, move. All right? Then you're going to take the dog further and further back so you have more time so you don't get killed. Right? It's important not to die. And as you move the dog further back, you're going to move yourself across the bar further. Does that make sense? So you started over there, dog was close. Move him back, you come here. Move him back further, you come here. So you have more time to move across the bar and get out of the dog's way. Does that make sense? So you're adding more and more motion across that bar, and the dog has to do what? Pay attention to the bar and come here and not cut in front of you and block you off. Because that's what most dogs will do when you're doing this. They'll come right there, and they won't take the jump. Okay? And then as you drop the toy, you look down at the toy, and that makes your body language correct. Okay, so let's try that with him.
And I'm dropping the toy.
Say, okay, drop, keep moving. So basically, as soon as you release the dog, okay, drop, keep moving. Okay? And of course, you want to do all these on both sides, right? Drop, keep moving. That's all right. But see, that's what I mean. That's what we're working on, and that's the hardest, right? He's like, that was really hard. I had to think about that. Because what he was doing is just saying, I run with the mama. That's all right. Try it again. The nice thing about using the toy as a lure is where the toy goes, the dog goes. Right? There's a ball there. I'll just go to the ball. It'll be amazing. Drop and look at you. Good. Now, yeah, that's all right. So the only thing I would change is make sure when you drop the toy, you look down at the toy, not at him. Try that again. Good boy. Look at the ball. Perfect. That was perfect. And that's how you teach your dog a search. So, for example, if I'm doing a serpentine with my dogs, and I'm running a line all the way down here, right? Most people will get stuck in this metal jump somewhere, which we worked a little bit on, and the dogs will knock bars, or they'll go wide, or something like that. It's because they're feeding off the motion. So they're seeing the motion and not necessarily those little intricate pieces of body language. And they're also watching you, not the bar. So for people that are sending here, right, I'm moving, I will easily be here when the dog lands. And most people won't be here. They'll be here. So it's those little moments where I'm really not that fast, but I seem like I'm fast, but the dogs are actually doing most of the work for me, because if I tell them to take a jump, they lock in 100%. So that's the kind of things you're going to do. Now, if he shoots past the jump, because he's looking at your motion, and then he makes a good choice to beeline back for the toy, I'm happy with that, because that's a change, right? So if he does it continuously, then I would be like, well, okay, let's try it again. But like that was a really good example of a really good choice. Even though he didn't take the correct side of the jump, he still went, oh yeah, I can do this, or even if he doesn't take the correct side of the jump, even if he circles around, whatever. Doesn't matter, because what he's doing is he's choosing to prioritize the line and the obstacle over your motion, right? Because I need the dogs to read motion, obviously, but once I give them an obstacle command, then they have to put those blinders on and just lock into that obstacle, and then when they land, I'll reconnect with them. That's the kind of stuff I do with young dogs. And once you have all of this, to where, the dog is, 20 feet back, and you can run all the way across the bar. So you're here, the dog's way back there, and you can do an entire motion across the bar, and they stay committed. Once you have a 20-foot forward send, or a send all the way around, 180 degrees around this jump, once you have a 15-foot backside send, you have agility. An easy agility. Not like hard agility where you have to run to all the freaking things. That's hard agility. It sucks, right? It's not fun. I've done it. But you have easy agility where you can just say, go take this jump, and you have complete trust the dog's going to lock in. Does that make sense? Very good. Nicely done. He's like, I'm amazing.